It's a topic that we haven't been able to avoid, John. It's just been kicking us in the butt for a while now. It is the continuing year of delay. Unfortunately, with all that's happening in the world, games are getting delayed out the window. Just this week, we had at least 4 delays, at least as long as I didn't miss any. Resident Evil Reverse got delayed to 2022. That's the second time it's been delayed, I think. Warhammer 40k Dark Tide, which a lot of people are looking forward to. I know there's a lot of Warhammer games happening. Yeah. I believe this is a really, really hyped one. That got delayed to spring. Rainbow Six Extraction got delayed to early 2022. And Riders Republic, not delayed out of the year, but delayed a month to October 28th. And that's all just this week, John. If you want to look at what got delayed out of this year, there is a smorgasbord of titles you can choose. I'll run through them real quick. Again, this isn't a complete list. This is just the big boys. So we have God of War Ragnarok, Ghostwire Tokyo, Breath of the Wild 2, Gran Turismo 7, Gotham Knights, Prince of Persia Sands of Time Remake, Hogwarts Legacy, Sifu, Rip Rose, King of Fighters 15. I don't even know if I want to count this one. Skull and Bones.
I was going to call you out on why did you put this one in this list?
Technically delayed out of this year. Overwatch 2, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. And that's what I have so far, as in games that had a 2021 release date got delayed out of the year. That does not include games that never committed to a release date in the first place, or still haven't delayed, and there will be more delays to come. That is a lot, John.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of games. Any games that you're anticipating being delayed that haven't officially made the jump yet? Don't you say it. Don't you say it. I won't hear it. Move on to the other one.
Okay.
You have another one in the pack? Move on.
I do have another one. The first one rhymes with Verizon Hero Blonde. That's my first one.
I'll play that game. Play the hell out of that game.
The second, I actually, and I hate saying this, I actually think Stray is going to get delayed.
Yeah, well, never got released. Well, did it? No, it was 2021. It did have a release.
It's got a 2021 release date.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that game.
I think it's just been too quiet. It's almost, granted, it's not Tokyo Ghostwire quiet, but no one's not really talking about it, but we don't know what's coming out of this game. I think Stray is going to get delayed. I'm going to hurt myself by saying this. I think Solar Ash, man. I think Solar Ash might get delayed. I was
totally shocked that they doubled down on 2021 during E3 and didn't just, get rid of that rumor there. That was a weird one to me. I definitely think that's getting delayed. One of the more interesting ones that I just have this gut feeling about. I feel like the multiplayer will launch this year, but the single player campaign for Halo Infinite will get delayed to 2022.
I don't think Papa Phil will let that happen. I think there's too much writing on this one. I still say Xbox had the best E3 showing a month ago. Mm-hmm. I think they need Halo. I think it was already a kick in the nuts enough that Halo was not launching with the Series X, that I think they need Halo, because you got Forza, which I'm very happy about. I think Forza Horizon 5 looks great. Forza Horizon 5. But I really think that there's no way on God's green earth that this is actually going to get delayed out of 2021. I think you're going to get both a single player and you're going to get the multiplayer coming out. I would be shocked 100%.
Just try and bring a positive spin on this. Anything that you're reasonably confident will come out this year that you're really looking forward to?
So I know Death's Door actually should be coming out next week, so I don't know if that's a cheat. That one actually looks really good. I actually pre-ordered that one. I like the idea of a very isometric Bloodborne, but you're a crow taking people to death. I think that's kind of cool. Guardians and Forza, I think, are my two big ones in this fall.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for both of those.
Yeah, Forza won't get delayed, or at least it won't get delayed out of this year. Really, really hoping for some Windjammers 2 news.
Where is that game?
Where the hell is Windjammers 2? The gut feeling
I will
that's
say that
getting
about-
delayed as well, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I will say that about Silk Song as well, but I think Silk Song is going to be the random. It's the Keeley now. Keeley's going to do it, and it's going to like shadow drop when Keeley talks about it. And like he brought Elden Ring back. Keeley, bring Silk Song back, please. Let's make that happen.
So to try and explain this year's delay, I assume most of us have a pretty good idea of why it's happening. Largely the pandemic is the big factor it caused, but I want to look at exactly, what is happening. Delays are constant in the games industry, but nothing quite like this, I think, has ever really happened to this degree. I don't think we've ever had as many big, huge, massive games just get completely pushed out of this year. And so, obviously the challenge is coming from working from home. I was trying to pull some sources on this. IGN did an interview with the Final Fantasy XIV director, Naoki Yoshida, and he was able to quantify the impact. He said there was about a 3 to 5% impact on productivity from working at home. And he just accounted that to, small things from like not being in a room together and just being saying like, hey, look, come and have a look at this, my team member. Everything has to be done through the internet. Just things like that. Not being able to, a lot of these companies run on, different hardware at their home offices. So it's, one might run slower. It's hard to account for that. And also their internet speeds. Sometimes they try and circumvent that with virtual machines, but even those can go wrong. And it's not as simple as like, if something does go wrong, it's not as simple as rebooting. You have to do a whole process. General employee burnout from working at home. Again, we've all been stuck indoors. It's been really hard to like get motivated for, I know, a lot of us, and working in the games industry, that will doubly apply. So yeah, just like the lack of productivity that comes with that, not being able to leave your house. There are certain tasks that require a bit more or like harder to transfer to working from home. For example, mocap. You need very specific equipment for that. You need to be in a close, tight space. So you need to get everyone COVID tested and vaccinated, and that's kind of hard to do. Voice acting is kind of similar unless you have a studio quality setup in your home, which again, for a lot of indie devs, won't have that, or may only have one to use. And again, like, these are global productions. Normally, like if you look at, for example, Halo Infinite 343, a bunch of different studios across the globe, and like different countries are obviously handling this stuff in different ways. So, like you could have one country, say you're working in Australia, you're handling it really well. You're still going to be working faster than other teams in other countries. And so you might be at a point where it's like, hey, I have nothing to do because I'm ahead of the rest of the group and I just have to wait here. So that's inefficient. And so it's just this mix of small things slowly building up. And the reason we're seeing this now and not last year is, again, because of the sheer amount of time it takes to make a video game. Like, it's constant production. It's not like movies. Again, a lot of the movies you saw that were delayed, they were already finished. And the reason they were delayed was to, because people couldn't come to theaters. They wouldn't get their money's worth for that reason specifically. So, games are different in that they are 5, 6, 7, 8 years of production. And so as the pandemic has gone on longer and longer, it's starting to just grind at these, long-term production things. But that is only a small part of it. Again, if you want to talk about side effects of things, this was an interesting tweet thread, retweeted by Jason Schreier, originally by Tammy Sigmund on Twitter, talking about the massive turnover in Montreal-based game studios right now, as people are reprioritizing their lives and looking at these massive game studios and going, hey, I don't want to be locked into like we were talking about Ubisoft last week, a bunch of people going, hey, I don't fucking want to work on Assassin's Creed Infinity. That sounds like a gargantuan project that I have no creative fulfillment from. I'm getting the hell out of here. And it talks about, specifically Montreal, there are a bunch of different companies just vying for people right now. And they are having to be flexible in terms of working from home versus in studio. Studios, as we sort of get vaccinated and stuff, they can't force people into these studios now because people are going, hey, I kind of liked some aspects of working from home. I have the setup. You can't force me to do this. At least let me do a hybrid. And so people are reprioritizing, moving away from the big cities, wanting to work remotely full time, starting to just figure out different things in life. The lasting effects of Cyberpunk 2077, I feel like that shook the games industry, right? For good reason.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk,
Absolutely.
was a 7-year production, ruined them almost financially. So I feel like people are really hesitant to release a game that is subpar or just even slight amount of bugs. It's a console launch here, so again, you have more platforms to worry about, and again, lots of new features like RTX and SSD speeds and quick reloads and all that stuff. So that's got to make things harder. I'm a bit cynical of this one. A lot of these, we read a lot of delay press releases, and a lot of them say, the basic things, COVID pandemic, making sure we want to polish the game, and a lot of them are jumping in the bandwagon now. We want to protect the health of our team. We don't want crunch. I'm personally cynical whenever I read one of those. I'm like, you don't give a fuck one iota about crunch. It was because of the pandemic that delayed you, and you're just like trying to spin some positive PR and say you care about your employees. But maybe that's just me being overly cynical. But I can say that there have been a few stories this year, particularly with Ratchet and Clank and Psychonauts 2. Some small reports there that those two projects were largely without crunch, and so I feel like the games industry is waking up at least a little bit to all this stuff. So that's sort of a positive aspect. So there are a lot of different complex, nuanced layers. But what I largely think is the big takeaway here, I feel like this is most people's general reaction, is that even with all this stuff, gaming is doing better than ever. We've had massive hardware launch, massive software stuff. Game Pass is killing it. Indie games are killing it. And so even from like a consumer standpoint, there's less to play, but it's almost more manageable. I feel like this has been a great year. Like, I just finished up Ratchet and Clank, and then I have this little break where I can try a bunch of smaller stuff, so I'm not like constantly swamped. Like on any given year, my backlog just infinitely increases. So I feel like that's a good thing. I don't know how you felt about it, but that's personally been my big takeaway. It's been a nice year, and I'm okay with delays.
Okay, we all agree delays are great. They might hurt, but they're good for the game. I'm a little bit different, but that only because of couch capades. I function a little bit different on the games. Like if I didn't have couch capades, I'd love this. I'm like, all right, I can take on this big game, and then I can do a little game. I can just play it for myself, and I don't want to have to be entertaining and be a comedian when it comes to couch capades. So it's a weird concept when we talk about making content on that one. But I do agree that even from my perspective, like there have been a lot less huge drops that like back to back to back, because it's always been May. It's now March, May, October-ish, but more end of October and November, that it is just every week you got a 60-hour game dropping, and it does not feel like that. It does feel like everything is a lot more manageable, that you can actually spend time with those games. And like you said, jump into a smaller game, get a feel for that one, find an indie gem that you did not see coming, and then jump back into another AAA game that has come out. And I truly like that. I'm with you. I'm liking that, at least with like Insomniac and with Double Fine, no crunch. I love that. I would rather, and I can speak for you, I can speak for Rose, I can speak for Keith and Tim. We would rather wait another year with no crunch. I would rather just wait, just push it back. I don't give a damn. Push it back. Family is first. Don't push yourself to sleep underneath your damn desks every single week for 2 years straight. That is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And again, to bring another positive spin on this, how could you not be absolutely stoked for 2022? Like, on top of the games that we already thought were coming out in 2022, all the games that got pushed, it might be the best year for games ever if these things get released. Like, good God, the Game Awards is going to be hard in 2022.
It's going to be, well, and I'm excited because you're right, because we're going to get all these good games coming out, and then I'm also afraid of, well, we're back at it every like 3 weeks, especially with what Xbox said. They want to release a good something almost every month. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we'll have this balance of hey, here's your big game. Here's another big game. Here's our lull, big games, lulls. That way we can experience a lot of just games, just to experience the games.
And like, we're starting off 2022 with Elden Ring.
Yes.
What a way to start, and then that's setting the bar going forward. Like, again, you got like God of War, possibly Horizon, Breath of the Wild 2. Oh my god, there's just so many games. I won't go over them all again.
It's going to be insane.
Yeah, so be excited for that.
Great.
And again, if you want to get some more fun out of delays, I highly recommend Fantasy Critic. We sort of gamified delays among our little group, and that's been fun way of taking a spin on it. So you know what? Like, it's been tough for devs, but if any devs were listening, any studio heads were listening, I would say we're good to wait. I know it's more complex than that. You've got money and stuff to worry about, and investment and stock prices and all these different things to worry about. But don't worry about us. We're good. We've got a lot of games to play already. Good God. So we'll be waiting for you in 2022 and beyond. So don't be afraid to delay your game. And ultimately, I feel like this will be looked back on as a good thing. Like, hey, remember when everything got delayed out 2021 and we had a banger 22? Oh, man.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
That's the way it needs to go.
Yeah.